We're going to start off the show today with an incredible thing that has come to India. We're one of the first countries in the world to finally get an answer to that question. Apple Watch, what happened to ECG? When will it come to India? Yes, I've got it for you. It's working on the watch that I'm actually wearing. It's been launched in India and we are very, very lucky because remember, it needs the medical association and a lot of other clearances, and we are one of the first countries in the world to actually have it. So how does it work? What do you really get from it? What do you do after you get the results? What is Apple's thinking about it? And just how much incredible innovation is it that you can actually get a true ECG from something on your wrist? First, I'm going to show you how it works.
An Apple Watch with a game-changing and perhaps life-changing feature is finally coming to India. That's right, the Apple Watch Series 5 rolls out in India amidst plenty of fanfare, and while it may look a lot like its predecessor, the Watch Series 4, some of its newer features do make a good case for investing in it. Now before you get excited, we'll show you our full review of the Apple Watch Series 5 on the show next week. But for now, let's take you through the watch's cool features and then show you how to use one of its most anticipated features, the ECG app. The Apple Watch 5 looks a lot like the 4, but this time around, Apple has announced new materials and even brought in a titanium version of the watch. Another big change is the always-on Retina display, which is guaranteed to change user behavior and make the watch more useful. There are also newer watch faces and bands to play with. The watch comes with watchOS 6 and new health and fitness tracking modes like cycle tracking. The watch can also complete international calls to emergency services, regardless of where the device was originally purchased or if the cellular plan has been activated. This watch can be yours for 40,900 rupees for the GPS variant and 49,900 rupees for the GPS plus cellular variant. The Apple Watch Series 5 gets a new navigation tool called the Compass app, and this will serve as a great guide during treks. There's also a new noise app which tells you how loud your environment is and warns you of the consequences of exposure to such loud sounds on your general health. And now let's show you the ECG feature, which has been highly anticipated ever since it was announced in the Apple Watch Series 4. For the demo purpose, we've got an Apple Watch Series 4 with us. The Apple Watch Series 4 is equipped with an electrode in its digital crown and a layer of chromium silicon carbon nitride on the part of the watch that rests against your skin. In the first step, start by opening the ECG app. Step 2, hold your finger on the crown while the watch is on your wrist. This way you create a closed circuit that allows the watch to perform an ECG or an electrocardiogram. So while a traditional ECG machine that you see in a hospital uses 12 leads, the Apple Watch works as a single lead ECG and claims to be just as effective at measuring the heart's electrical signals. The ECG app in the watch will give you two heart rhythms or categories. One which is a normal sinus rhythm and the other which is arterial fibrillation. Now while we are all healthy, please note that if your Apple Watch gives you the AFib classification, which we can't show you right now, go to the doctor. All in all, the ECG app is quite useful in measuring heart health, and only time will tell if it will ever replace a traditional EKG machine. But even if it can save one life by alerting you to any heart irregularity, it becomes revolutionary.
Now that I've shown you how it works and what do you do with it when you get the results and everything else, we exclusively got to speak with the main person behind this, the person who actually drives this initiative at Apple. Take a look.
Well, so when we roll out medical software features such as the irregular heart rhythm notification and the ECG feature, we need to do a number of things. One, we need to make sure that we've registered with the appropriate authorities. And in addition, because we really care about the end-to-end experience that a customer has, we want to make sure that the appropriate assistance is available for customers when they have questions about the feature. So we did a number of things to get that all up and running and got it ready for the India market to have an amazing experience when they use our features. So first is the irregular heart rhythm notification. That uses the PPG sensor. So if you look at the green light on the back of your watch, that is intermittently, but in the background, looking at your heart rhythm. So if you think back about what we did with our heart features, we are able to already measure heart rate, which is how fast your heart is beating. Then now with the irregular heart rhythm notification, which we're releasing, you'll be able to look at how regular your heart is beating. So the way to think about it is your heart normally beats like a regular drum beat. And what we talk about is if your heart's playing jazz, that means it's not beating normally, and that's not what we want. And so the irregular heart rhythm notification can pick up in the background. If it sees 5 times that your heart's beating irregularly, it'll surface an alert to the individual. So if you think about that, that's kind of passively, intermittently in the background. The ECG feature, which is available in our Series 4 watch, is basically an on-demand feature is the way to think about it. So you put your finger on the digital crown that has an electrode, and then there's an electrode on the back of the watch, and that will capture the electrical signals in your heart and generate a single lead ECG, which is the tracing that you'll see. And then what the feature does, which is really great, is it will then actually classify the ECG. So it'll show you the tracing, but it'll actually also classify the tracing to sinus rhythm, which means your heart's beating in that regular drum beat. Or if your heart's playing jazz, it'll classify it as atrial fibrillation. If it's not able to cleanly pick up the reading, it'll tell you to take another reading and say poor recording. Or if it's a rhythm that we don't classify, there's a number of heart rhythms that we don't classify, and with using the feature, it'll list it as inconclusive, and so then you can just take another ECG.